My name is Pratibha Day. I am the host and founder of Chai Together. Courage, hope, and imagination is what we stand for. So we use courage on this platform to showcase our stories. We use hope to overcome, and we use imagination to resonate and understand with the stories that are being shared. So with that, I'd like to welcome my friend, Miss Shellyann. How are you doing?
Hello.
You just sound so cute.
Aw, thank you.
So I
I
have a
so do.
question. Yeah. Oh, thank you. I always like my voice. And I feel like I could do voiceovers. I think we both can.
Of course. I told you that too.
So your last name, is it pronounced Siddoo in
Yeah,
our accent, right? So
yeah,
Shellyann Siddoo.
yeah,
In the American accent, is it Siddoo? Like, how
yeah.
do people pronounce it?
You do.
Yeah. Because, mine's Pratibha and it's Pratibha,
Yeah.
since I moved to America, change. So today you will be sharing your journey with us about becoming a blind artist, right? After your incident and all that you do. So where do you want to start?
So let's start from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Like honestly, I was not born blind. So
Mm.
at the age of 24, just imagine, right? Living your best life. And when I mean best life, I mean working at my dream job. I had my fiance was about to get married, going to
Wow.
school, and just truly living life and enjoying life to the fullest and going out with my friends. And you know how it is when you're 24, right? Just truly, truly enjoying life to the fullest again. I was blessed with the opportunity to have amazing parents and a wonderful upbringing. So when we migrated to Canada and stuff like that from an early age, like it was just my life was always fulfilled and complete. So it was not like if ever had any challenges or so before, like just minor challenges or so.
Mm.
But just imagine just truly, truly living life to the fullest. When all of a sudden on April 8th, 2008, I remember this morning, just this particular morning, right? I was going to work, and I normally wake up 4 o'clock in the morning to cook for my dad, cook lunch and stuff because he's older, right?
Oh.
I'd make sure and cook breakfast and stuff for him, and breakfast and lunch, and then leave the house. So I remember when I was leaving the house that morning, like you always have this gut instinct that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
something can go wrong, but you don't know what it is or whatever. But I remember this particular morning, I was just like looking around at everything, and actually I was late for the bus, and the bus driver was waiting for me because normally every morning I would actually hop on the bus, right? At this one particular time. So he saw me walking, so he stopped and he waited for me to come. And I just remember just looking around at everything. And I don't know why. Now that I reflect back, it's like, it was just something that I did at that moment. So a few stops later, my friend hopped on, and then we had like the most like delicious conversation. Like, it's like this conversation was just like it was so natural, and it was just like it's so amazing. And I just remember just looking around at everything. And up to now, I could still remember the person who was standing, holding the subway, and this guy coming into the bus, and this old lady coming here, and this other lady trying to help her. Like everything, I remember into detail now, right? Because for this particular morning, I was just looking at everything, and so I just knew something was not feeling right that morning, right? But I don't know what it was at the time. As I told you, I just taken everything. So I just was looking around at everything, and then I got off my stop. I bought the Tim Hortons. For us, it's Tim Hortons.
Yeah. I've had Tim Hortons. I'm
You
not
like
crazy
it?
about it. I'm not
Yeah.
crazy about it.
You have to move to Canada, and then you like it. Anyway, so I bought breakfast for her. This lady who used to sit outside the office in downtown Toronto. So I would buy breakfast for her every morning, and then I would go to work. So I went to work as usual. It was just a jam-packed morning. Like we had so much production to get out the door. I was a startup company, so basically I was in charge of basically from start to finish of the products, right? Getting out. And so this particular day, I just worked through lunch and everything like that. And now coming to around 2 p.m., the light in the fume hood. So now I finished the production, and now it's time to ship these out before the end of the day, right? So I was working in the fume hood, and then the light in the fume hood blew. So I asked someone from the engineer department to come and help me because I just need to get all these production out the door this particular day. And my supervisor and everyone just came because we needed to get this out, right? As I mentioned. So I was working in the light in the fume hood blew. So now just imagine 5,000 watts of light just hitting my face, right? And neck, chest, and arms. Keep in mind, I wore protective gear. It was winter time at the time. Not winter, like springtime, but it was a cold day, so I had on layers, and then I had on my lab coat, and then I had on my goggles and my gloves and everything, right? And this particular day now, this time when the light in the fume hood blew, I remember just like I just started to feel uncomfortable, like my face were itching, my hands and my skin. So just imagine um, how strong it was to just burn through everything, right? All of my layer of clothing and everything. So the my supervisor said, I just pulled back the chair, and I said, I'm just something doesn't feel right. I'm just so uneasy. I feel like I thought it was like the humidity or something in the room or something because everywhere just started to itch so badly. So she's like, no, Shelly, you got to keep on working. We got to get this production out. Part of me saying, stop. And the lady next to me was working. And then I noticed that she was getting irritable too. And so I continued working for a few seconds again, like I think for about 30 seconds, but it felt like eternity. So I just pulled back the chair and I just went in the washroom. Did not say anything. I just went in the washroom, and I could remember seeing my eyes bloodshot red, and my skin was like sort of like red, and it started to get like little discoloration, or so it, like you could just tell something was not right. So I told her that I gotta go home because I feel very sick. So I went home, traveled back home or so, and at this time, keep in mind, I was just seeing blurry at the time now, right? So now that I didn't know what was going on at the time, I just thought that it was just uncomfortable. Something was not feeling right, but I know it was just so uncomfortable. So anyways, I just went home and I just ran in the shower. That was the worst thing I could have done. When I went in the shower in the warm water, I just felt like my eyes were melting and my skin were melting. Thank God my dad was home, and I just started to scream, and he rushed me straight to the emergency, which was just the hospital, which was just one block away. They just rushed me in the back and tried to cool me down as much as possible. So from that day, I went to see 19 doctors over the course from April to the end of the summer. 19 doctors, with each one of them saying, Shelly, there's nothing I can do to save your eyesight. Just imagine that, Prativa. Like 19 doctors, you go with them with the hope to actually to get some sort of hope, to know that, you know what, I just want to see just partial vision. It's still okay, but to be completely blind at 24, because I know that I'm only 24. And say, for instance, I live to 80 years, I still have most of my life ahead of me. And it was just a difficult time that I was going through. And remember, I had to be strong for my family and friends now, right? So I couldn't tell them that I'm seeing, like, it was just hard for me to tell them I'm seeing less and less. So I always had to put on this strong face that, yeah, everything is okay. And because I know they were broken even more than I am. And thank God I had amazing family and friends who supported me. And my friends, they just had a baby a few months earlier, and they would come every weekend to make sure and spend with me. And they made sure that I lived like that summer, just doing normal things, like going to the beach, which I love. So everything that I wanted to do, they did. I mean, just imagine going with a little baby all over the place, because just to make sure that I was okay at the time. So having that support system, especially when you're going through a difficult time, it's so vital, it's so important. And thank God that I had that at that time. And my fiance at the time, who is now my amazing husband, was always there to support me every step of the way and always encourage me. And that's why I am who I am today and doing all these amazing things. I have to credit him a lot, because he always encouraged me and supported me in everything that I did. And so I remember waking up this particular morning now. So over the summer, as I was losing my eyesight, we went out. We still did normal stuff with my friends, and I keep telling them, you know what, I can't even see to cross the road, so they would cross the path, so they would help me. And then I couldn't even go to the washroom by myself. So, and they, you know what, they never discouraged me. They always said, Shelly, no problem, come on, let's go. So it was just like, okay, like, like, oh, you can't see? That's okay. Nothing is wrong with you. You just can't see. Okay. So it was just like, you lose a finger? Okay, that's okay. let's go, let's do anything you want to do, whatever, like that. So I remember this one particular morning, I woke up the end of summer. So during that time, as I mentioned, like I had the Canadian National Institute for the Blind come in, and they showed me how to walk, how to communicate with others, so I don't look like awkward, like putting my ears when someone is talking, so it would look so awkward. So I got trained to do all these things and how to move around, how to hang up the clothes, how to put the pin so I could know which one is which one, and so they helped me so much, right? And at the time, I lost the use of both of my hands, so I got burnt on my face, neck, chest, arms, and hands. So my hands were in a fist for over 10 years, and so I woke up one morning, and honestly, Pratima, it was the day that I've dreaded for that whole entire summer. Just imagine at 24 waking up completely blind. And how I knew I was blind, how I couldn't see, because I thought it was in the middle of the night. So I woke up, I opened and closed my eyes, right? Because the day before I could still see a little bit, but I didn't expect that I'd be completely blind the next year or so. So I just opened and closed my eyes, opened and closed my eyes, and I thought it was just dark. So I walked over got off my bed and walked to the window, to a few steps. And as I opened the window, I could feel the sun, the rays of the sun just hitting my face. And that is the moment that I knew that I lost my eyesight completely. But so I just went back in the bed. On the way back, I knocked down the glass of water. I knocked the clock from the nightstand, and then I came back in the bed and I just lied down. I just cried. And I remember just turning over on my pillow, but this felt like eternity, but it was just about 2 or 3 minutes or so. And as I turned my head on the pillow, I could feel it wet. It was drenched with tears. And I knew something had to be done, because it's either I stay here and cry all the time, or I get up and I make a difference. And I have to try to find out somewhere. If 19 doctors couldn't help me to get my eyesight back, I got to help myself now. And that's where my journey of self-discovery and everything started. And at that moment, honestly, Pratima, I decided to walk in faith and not by sight. And I made that decision in that moment that regardless of the obstacles that come my way, I'll figure out a way. And honestly, it's been the most amazing blessing. Like now, I would not go back and change a thing, because the connections that I've made, it's just soul to soul connections. Because I haven't been able to see anyone for the last 14 years or so. But the connections that I made, it was just soul to soul. It's just heartfelt, and it's no judgment, no nothing. It's you see me for who I am, and I feel you for who you are, and those are the connections that, and it's just more deeper and a deeper level, and it's just more fulfilling at the end of the day. And at that time, keep in mind, I lost friends, family, my dream job, my independence, my license, and you name it, I lost it. So talking about lost it all, and to start over from scratch, and not being able to have your eyesight, you could just imagine how difficult it was. So from there now, it was a hard journey to get to where I am today.
Wow.
Any questions?
I truly believe it's because of your spirit that you're given this journey. That's what I believe. You know, I don't think God would have, I mean, if you do believe in God, because it's very hard to have faith in God when something like this can happen to somebody, or any tragedy. However, I feel it's really special in a sense, because, you know, you were living life like, you know, any other normal person with eyesight, right? Perfect life, perfect in the sense of that, you know, you have a nice family and all the good, like the dream. And if it's too perfect, as in there was no story, you know what I mean? Right. And so when that event happened, and it's you knowing the gut feeling that when you were looking around and all those things, it's like God was about to transition you into a different chapter of how you're going to live possibly the rest of your life now. And the fact that you are aware of those things that happened before that time, I'm sure there's people who possibly they may not have those, memories, or may not be able to, remember that awareness. Oh, how was I before? Like some people may not, but you do. And I don't know that for sure. That's just something that's coming to mind. And then as this happened and you becoming a painter out of it, people know you for this, and you being featured in, the movie Dreamer and other things that you may be doing, you wouldn't have these connections and the story, I feel, if you weren't living the life you are today. I also find it to be beautiful in the fact that you said it was really hard, because how I see you now, this is not how you were the whole time, but I only met you when you're this way, So all that mess in between, all the hardship, no one really saw, I guess, except for your close, loved ones. And we only see you now, like Shellyann, the painter, but those hard times. And like the question comes to mind, when you first realized that day that you're blind now, do you find that to be poetic? Because, a lot of people who are, they tend to write poetry, or there's no way we can feel what you feel. I feel like an essence of poetry and words and your language changes when you go through something like that, because it's a pain and transition that you won't know unless someone experiences it. And that can be for other things too.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. So like my question is, that day, did you feel like you wanted to end your life, or that life is over for you? Or like, were you ever suicidal regarding this? Like the thought?
Well, to be honest, at that day, that moment, like when I came back, I just wish if I wasn't here, if I could have died at that moment. Because remember, Prativa, at 24 years old, just losing everything, it is difficult. And not being able to see anything, and you don't know how you're going to move around. You don't know what your life is in store for you. Like there's absolutely nothing. Like I just lost everything. And now I have to be strong for family and friends. And it's like I'm going through so much, and why am I here? And I didn't know at the time what my purpose was, or I didn't know what my life would hold in the future. Keep in mind, at that time, I didn't know what a motivational speaker is. I never even heard of that at that time, because remember, I was a scientist. Listen, and I never liked to paint. I was the worst painter at even the stick figures. So that's how bad I was. So it's everything I developed, and art was a therapy for me to heal, right? Because I knew inside, like, even the next day, I still woke up and I still felt like myself. Like, I still felt joyful and happy, but I don't have my eyesight. And I just felt trapped inside. Like, I can't express myself fully, like, how I'm actually feeling. Like, regardless, I'm going through all of these things. I can't see. I don't have my hands or anything, but there's just a part of me inside which is still alive. Like, I was just me. Like, I didn't want to end my life, but I was just always so happy. Like, it's just like, like you always have that, your true nature, like how you are. For me, it was always like, like just happy-go-lucky person, like always been, and I think I always will be, or so. I don't have my moments, don't get me wrong, but, just that inside of you. And I couldn't, like, I felt so trapped. You would not believe this, Prativa, for over a year, because I couldn't express myself. And for me at that time, then I'm like, and then my friend asked me, Shelly, if you could do anything in the world, what would it be? I don't know where this came out from. And I said, I wanted to paint. And it was just shocking to me, because I never even thought about that. I never even thought that I wanted to paint. Like, me, stick figure, I don't have my hands. How the heck am I going to do that? I can't even see what I'm doing. Like, just imagine, like, seriously, like, imagine the thought process in my head. Like, you can't see, you don't have your hands. You can't paint when you had your eyesight on your hands, and you want to do that now. Like, just imagine. So anyway, so I always trust my gut instinct. So I decided to go at that time with my fiance to by the lake. So we always go there, because for me it was healing, just to hear the sound of the waves. Like, I just felt like with every wave, like part of my problems are just going away.
Wow.
And it was just something that's always connected me to the ocean and the lake and stuff. Like, just to hear water, it was just so healing and so therapeutic. And then he would I told him that I wanted to go paint. He's like, okay, no problem. Like, I'm like, I would question him if he said that to me. But anyways, yeah, no problem. Okay, no problem. What do you need? So I said, I think I need canvas and I need paint. So we went. That's what you need, right? Because I can't hold a paintbrush, so I can't. There's no way that I'm gonna use the paintbrush. So he's like, how are you gonna paint? I'm like, my hands, I guess, my knuckles. So anyway, so he put it on the canvas like this. I'll show you after the front of it. So then we decided to, so he would place so I do have photos, I think, on Facebook of where he would put the paint onto the canvas. And then I took my knuckles, and this is what the outcome is. I'm not sure if you can see this. So now where it is. So, and this is how it looked like. So gradually over time, so I spent many years, Pratibha.
Wow.
Because when I painted this first one, I felt free. Like there's colors. Now I could express myself. Now I found a way that finally, after so long, I could express myself. And then I started to paint more and more, trying to figure out the ways now, how could I paint? Because I don't want him to be there all the time when I'm painting, like if he's not there or so, right?
Yeah.
So I started to use sand and tack and you name it, just to find my way around the canvas. Like, what could I put in here? And finally, what worked for me was the modeling paste. So when I started to use modeling paste, like that's where it gives the texture. Oh, and by the way, this is Prativa's painting in the back of me. That's where this so this is where you could feel the painting and the pine trees and everything like that is from the modeling piece. So this is how it looks like when the modeling piece is on the canvas.
Yeah.
It's easy to feel it or so.
I did see that it was a different texture. I was wondering what that is. I was like, looks incredible.
Aw,
thank you. So it's paste. That's what that is.
Yeah, modeling paste. Yeah. So it's a flexible modeling paste and so.
Wow.
Yeah. So that worked for me, but for everybody it's different, right? There's another blind artist who uses tack, and the other one uses sand and coffee beans, and just what actually works for you. For me, this is what works. So a great lesson here is always follow your gut instinct. See what works for you. You got to try new things. And keep in mind, Pratibha, it was 4 years in the making. So it's not like if you just, this is how I paint. No. I was horrible. Listen, I'm telling you, I was horrible. And up to now, I still don't know how these things look, this painting looks or so, because I haven't even seen a painting yet.
Looks amazing.
Oh,
we can tell you it looks amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Can you believe it? Like, can you believe it in the sense that you're able to paint as someone who's blind? Like, I mean, did you hear of those things before you were ever blind, that these kind of events?
No. To be honest, I used to spend, because as I told you, I was working and going to school at the time. So my life was filled with just studying and just trying, like, was just all science and all just processing lab stuff and things like that, right? So my days and nights were filled with only science stuff. So when I tell you I never went to an art gallery except in school, like I never had like I was never in tune with art. I never appreciate art for all that it is. Mm-hmm. Or never, art was never a thing that I ever felt connected to. So it's so strange to me now that this is my world. And through art now I'm a motivational speaker and I've been featured in so much amazing publications and the movie Unsinkable from my good friend Sonia Riccati. And
oh, I said Dreamer. I said the wrong movie name. I'm sorry. There's a movie called Dreamer as well, where there's a woman, Jessica Fox, where she's a pilot. With her feet. Do you know of that?
Yeah.
So I'm saying the wrong name, I believe.
Oh,
I apologize. Unthinkable.
Unthinkable.
Oh my goodness.
Aww, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just been a blessing, and as I said, like the connections that I've felt with people, it's just incredible through this journey. Mm-hmm. And it's not about so going back at all these things. Like somebody might be going through a difficult time right now, right? Mm-hmm. And my advice to you is honestly, trust where you are is exactly where you need to be. Because your story right now, all the stuff that you're going through right now will change another person's life. And I honestly believe that, because when I was going through all those things before, I didn't know what my life would have been like. And one of my nieces, while I was speaking to her, she said, Shelly, you know what? I wish if you could come to my school and talk to the kids because they would be inspired by you. So I'm like, you want me to go and talk in front of the kids in front of your school, and how do I do that, and what's that about, and whatever. So what would I do? Contact my friend who's an MP at the time. I'm like, yeah. So if you have any events, now thinking about you would say, oh, come next month or something like that. I'm like, yeah, I know you do talks with students or so. So if you do have one, I'd love to share my story and hope to inspire some students. She's like, oh, great. Shall we get ready? Be at this school at 8 a.m. in the morning. Keep in mind, this is 11 o'clock at night. Never spoke in front of anyone. 500 students spoke to them wholeheartedly, and each one of them lined up so they could give me a hug at the time.
Wow.
500 students. But it's like your story when I'm saying this, and I didn't have no experience sharing my story with anyone. So your story could change someone's life. No matter what, it don't have to be a big dramatic story. Whatever you've gone through in the past, share your story. The more you share, the more you're going to help other people. It could be through written words. It could be through your art. It could be through your music. It could be through your words. It could be just you sharing your story with a friend, and that friend will share your story with them. And you could be inspiring so much people by just doing what you're doing. Just be who you are. Continue to live life, because I now know that each day is a gift. And Pratibha, more than anything else, this past 2 years have taught us that life is short. We need to appreciate each day for all that it is. Yes, we might have bad days, and no day is perfect. Trust me, no day is perfect, but we gotta live life to the fullest, regardless of whatever the outcome is. Yes, I do have my challenges every day. And since having my accident, I did get married, and I've been a full time mom for the past 4 years and a half. And just imagine, and my son was not the easiest. He was a colicky baby, and he just started sleeping a few months before he started school full night. So I would wake up all the time and stuff like that. So for me to tell you that you could accomplish anything, I mean it. You could accomplish anything, because once you set your heart and mind to anything, every and anything is possible. Trust me, because I'm kind of a living example that
Yeah.
you can do anything. And don't allow a limitation to hold you back from accomplishing whatever you want to accomplish. Because yes, for you and Pratibha, honestly, sometimes somebody might be going through, and let's talk about mental health for a second, right? For me, you're seeing that I have a problem. You're seeing that I don't have my eyesight, and now I start walking with a cane. So if you see me with my glasses and my cane, you know that I am blind. You could presume that I'm blind, right? A lot of people are going through a difficult time right now, and you do not see any signs. So that's why we have to treat everyone that we meet with love and respect, because we don't know what they're going through. We honestly, and everyone could just put on a smile on their face. Like, I think she's probably on the live right now. One of my dear good friends who is living in Trinidad, and she lost her only son, an amazing young boy. Oh my goodness! Just hearing his stories after, how amazing this child was. He was a little superstar in his short years of life, and unfortunately, he passed away. And his mom is devastated, right? You could just imagine her only son. She waited so long to have this boy, and she was finally blessed with this amazing young child, and he was a star from birth till when he passed. I believe he was 13 years old when he passed. And this mom, if you meet her, she's the most loving and caring person ever. But you don't know the pain that she carries through every day. And she has been my source of inspiration since having my son, because when I have my son, I just found out a few weeks later that her son passed away. So, and it was just like, oh my goodness, and she's been a dear friend ever since. And just knowing that, okay, you'd see her with her smile on her face, she'd be talking and laughing and joking, but you don't know the pain that she carries in her heart. We all face difficult challenges. Each one of us don't have a perfect life. No one has a perfect life. We all go through stuff. And that's why, Pratibha, it is important that every person that we meet, we treat them with love and respect. And that is my mission, and this is what I believe in, because we don't know what somebody else is going through. And this is what I hope and pray to change one day, is that treat each person with the love and respect that you would want, because we don't know what everybody's going through. And be there to support each other and one another. And that's why you'd get random messages from me just out of the blue.
I do that also. I also do that with people as well. And I remember sometimes people say, wow, you check on me more than anyone else.
No.
Like, but people need that. And we need more text communities and, more groups and things like that. And I remember the first time I reached out to you, and when I did, I wasn't thinking that, oh, the person's blind, they're not going to see my message. Like, I didn't even have that thought. Like, I still sent you a message. So now, folk, like, mentioning that, it's you responding. Like, tell me about how it works with talk text, right?
Yeah. Thank God for technology.
Because I always wondered, I'm like, would it pick up slang? Like, it reads it just as great? Like, have you noticed? Does it do it perfectly?
No, it doesn't.
No.
I have to guess. What it's saying, and then thankfully I have someone who reads it. My husband, or not my son, or
Wow.
But it's just been a blessing. Like, but not all of the messages is from me. But when I reach out to you, like especially like late in the night, that's me. Or the WhatsApp messages is from me. Those are technology that I could use. But the emails and stuff like that, I do get help with it as well.
Yeah.
With the website and all those things like that, I get.
It's interesting because it's like, I don't even see you as, definition of blind. It's just like, Shelly's reaching out to me. I don't know who it is. Like, I don't think like, oh, it's someone else.
No, it is me. Yeah, it is. Sometimes you might get it jumbled up with the words or whatever like that. So just how I speak, it's like, So that's why, like, in the late night, I send out messages. So that's when I'm free, because my son is he's sleeping, and I finish tidying up and doing all that I have to do, getting all my work stuff done, and then finally get a chance. Now I'm like, let me catch up on everyone.
Wow.
Just see, honestly, how they're doing, because for me that is vital and that is important. Like, we all have what we believe in, and for me to check up on a friend, or to just thank that friend, just a random message, thank you so much for being there for me during this time. And I know people would be like, what is this? What is she doing? Is it thanking me for something I did before? Yes. You know what? Up to now, I'm still grateful for what you did. What you, like, how you responded to me. Like, I reached out to you. You helped me. I am grateful. And to me, Pratibha, that's the greatest gift that you could ever give me. You helped me once, and I will remember it for the rest of my life.
Wow.
And I've always sent you messages to thank you for that thing that you did.
Wow.
So that's what keeps me going, keeps me to be who I am. It's that no matter how much I grow in life, I don't consider myself better than anyone. I am just me. I am blind. I am going through a difficult time day to day. I'm just human. And just as you're having your challenges, I have my challenges. But just always know that you have a friend and a sister here that you could always reach out to. I've always made my life an open book. Reach out to me anytime. I am here. Like, I would respond back. It may not be today or tomorrow, but I would respond back. And that's what I've always believed in, and that's what my motto in life is that at the end of the day, it's not that the fame and whatever. No. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. You've got to be there to support one another. And that's who I am, and that's what I'll always continue to do as I grow in life.
Wow. And you're genuinely one of the people who are, like, regardless of any fame, because anyone who comes on my platform, they're coming on because they're humble. If you're not humble, usually, people want to charge or like different things. It depends. But it really tells someone's heart when someone's not like a larger platform and they still want to come on and share,
Yeah.
their time and their knowledge. So
Like,
that says a lot.
I promised you, right? Since from, I think it was in January, February, I think you reached out to me. I'm like, yes, I will do an interview with you. I promise you I will do it with you. But just right now, I have just so much stuff going on, which I did, and everything is coming out and whatever. But it's like, I reached out to you back and I'm like, okay, now I have time because I still have,
I know.
today I'm like, what, are you still doing interviews? What, because this is a promise that I made to you. And once I make a promise, I do fulfill it, even if it's months after. But I always try my best to fulfill it. I'm so sorry it took so long.
No, it's okay. It's at the right time, like you said, right? We are supposed to be, and it is the right time, I truly believe. So let me ask you this regarding painting. Do you feel you're going to do this work for years to come, or is there something else you want to transition into doing more of?
For right now, I want to take painting to another level.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have some workshops coming out, some more videos coming out. I'm working on a book coming
Yeah,
out.
I was going to ask about that. Are you writing something?
And it's just so much stuff that's coming out that is through the art. Because what it is to Prativa, it's like when you see this painting behind me, you would see it's a tangible. When I told you that this is how I started, right? And this is what you accomplished. When you see something physical, you'll be like, okay, how did she accomplish that?
Mm-hmm.
So if she could do this thing from nothing to this, okay, you grab my attention.
Mm-hmm.
So I use painting for me because, listen, when I was painting and locked in my studio for 4 years, I would spend 8 hours per day, minimum, in the dark because light affects me, right? So everything would be dark. So just imagine just being in that space, learning how to paint. And I could not paint at the time. So using my knuckles would be bleeding.
Wow.
The next morning, I would get up again, learning to paint again. Because you know what was my why that kept me going no matter what? It's that if someone, just one person sees my painting and get inspired to go after their goals and their dreams, it will all be worth it. And that was my why. And up to now, there are many times like I just wanted to just give up everything. There are many times like like you go through life and there's so much things like you're just tired and exhausted. And just imagine taking care of a little one by yourself, waking up all night and doing all these things. But I still came into my studio regardless every single day. Because my hope is that when you see my painting, you get inspired to go after your goals and your dreams. And that's why I do what I do. And it's not for anything else. It's just for each one of you that who sees it. Just know that you're not alone. That you could accomplish anything. Like I mean anything. Like I was never an artist, and if I could paint, just imagine what you could do. And I'm blind. I didn't have my hands. I started with my knuckles, and then eventually, after 5 years, then I was able to hold a paintbrush between my thumb and my finger. So just imagine that. So I am here because I believe in each one of you, right? Whoever is listening to this podcast right now, it's that you know that you can accomplish any and every single thing. Once you put your heart and mind to it, just imagine what you could accomplish. If you could think it in your mind, seriously, it is tangible. But it is tangible and you can do it. Seriously. And Prativa, what you're doing in this platform, it is incredible because I had the honor and privilege of watching you grow over this past year. And for me, it's been such a blessing and a privilege to witness all that you have accomplished and all that you're accomplishing. And I know your journey wasn't an easy one this year.
No.
But I want to say that I'm so, so, so proud of all that you're accomplishing. And I'm here to support you any way possible.
Wow.
And
I want to say that it's incredible because everything is supposed to be the way it is, because when I came across your painting, it meant something to me and I shared with you why. And it's interesting that it's just what I needed and I was in my, healing journey, and I was doing so many different therapies and things, and to meet you. And I actually, interestingly enough, I knew about the Unsinkable movie, long ahead, a few months possibly already ahead, when I joined with John and, Les Brown and all. And I knew of Sonia, that he was stating he was friends with Sonia, but I didn't feel a calling to watch the movie. There's so many things to watch, right? But if you don't have interest at the time, it's not the right time. It's not going to align with me. There was one night where I just felt this strong pull to watch that movie. It's a free movie, Unsinkable. If you Google it, it will come up.
No, this year I think it's in the film festival, so it's not available. So
Oh, it's not available? Oh, sorry.
It's amazing. It's in the film festival this year, so just imagine how
Yeah.
incredible that is. So I think you could join. You could go on unsinkable.com and you could go join the waiting list. I think Sonia might have it available next year or so.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go. Wow. Well, I got it in time. So I watched that night, the full movie, and I saw you in it. And of course, I'm attracted to people like you in arts and like different things, like anything humble. And I found you and I reached out to you. I don't know what I even said, but the fact that I did that, because that's who I am. Like, I make connections, as in I reach out to people. I don't look at who they are, where they are. I just connect with people. And just for the purpose of, that means something to me, to begin with. I don't bring on people on my show who I don't talk to or align with, because it wouldn't be a free flow conversation if we don't get along or something already, so that wouldn't work out. But it was so incredible what I saw, because when she was sharing, when she was at your place, or you guys were seeing the paintings, and the fact that you're blind and you're doing this, I thought, how?
And I have to honestly credit Sonia for where I am today. And the reason being, she is not only my friend, I consider her as my sister. She supported me from day one. Keep in mind, in 2011, I decided to have a free event over here in Toronto to invite speakers from all different walks of life. Keep in mind, Sonia was an international speaker at the time. I just reached out to this woman and said, Sonia, could you come and speak at this event? And she said yes. And not paying her or anything like that, keep in mind, I just want to have a free event just to invite the public to just come out, to just be inspired by other people. Sonia have always supported me in every and anything. There's times that I could reach out to her in the middle of the night, and especially the past few months, every day she's been texting me to check in. But especially Nathan going to school and everything like that, she has been such a beacon of light for me. And I have to thank her so much for being there as a sister and a friend throughout this whole since I've known her. She spoke at the wedding, and she's always just been encouraging me throughout. So it's just
long time.
It's been, she's more of a sister than anything else, and it's just incredible. It's just, I'm blessed.
So has it been over a decade now, right? Time.
Yeah. It's been since I known her, or since my accident?
Yes, she known her.
Yeah, over a decade. Yeah.
Because she also has her story. If anyone who's listening doesn't know of Sonia Riccati, she also has her own stories, to definitely look her up and her story. Because if she didn't go through what she went through, the movie, you being in it, none of these things would be possible. That's why I say we are where we are. Everything is how it's supposed to be, how you were saying earlier. And I truly believe in that. And it's not about, everyone can be in different places financially, spiritually, emotionally, but there's something that always connects all of us. Like, I'm connected with you, you're connected with Sonia. I'm connected with other people as well. I won't state their names, but all different levels of successful people. And it doesn't mean just because you're not there financially or spiritually or emotionally that you're also not, at that state of mind, that where you can also be friends with them or come together, because you can be friends with someone who is more spiritually, aligned than you are financially, and still be friends. And I think that's I think people who don't see that for themselves, I think that's where they block themselves of not seeing more for them, that they can also meet and be associated with people who have done more than them financially, spiritually, or emotionally. So that's just something I wanted to say, because a lot of people who come on my show, most of them can be millionaires. Like I had a few people, or Tara Natalie, Jay Sean's wife, like I shared with you. And there's my Reiki teacher, and these are people who have wealth, but they're still humble as is, just
Yeah,
as I am. And I connect with them genuinely because of who I am, because I'm not looking at what they have. I'm just having a conversation with them.
yeah,
And if you're not able to look at them from a viewpoint of they're just another human being, you're always going to have this barrier thinking that like you're not on their level or something. So that's just what I wanted to say.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Sativa, it's also for those who are successful, who have accomplished a lot as well too. You always have to remain humble, and that's something that I pride myself on. That no matter how much I've grown or I'm growing, there's still so much I have to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
I will always remain humble. I
Yeah.
just want everyone to reach out to me, and you would hear from me itself, because sometimes you just want to know that you have someone that you could actually know, that who is wealthy, who is who have gone through difficult times and could still be
Mm-hmm.
successful, and so much things. Like, I just want to make myself available to know that, what, I am here. Reach out to me. Know that we can. You can actually make sure that someone. And we cannot, honestly, Perceiva, we cannot. The more successful we get, the more humble we have to be, because
Wow.
we're in all of this together. Because I would not be where I am today if people like Sonia and Jody, my auntie Jody, who came and she put together this event
Wow.
and paid for everything. Keep in mind, at that time, because I was not starting off speaking,
Mm.
and she came and she paid for the whole entire event. So people like these who have helped me along the way, I'm in a position now where I could help others, right?
Yes.
And this is my life now. If they could have helped me back then, what they put into me, I'm going to put into others now. And this is where I thrive. It's like, the more I could help, the more I feel fulfilled. I'm not filled with wealth and with all these other stuff. No, that's not who I am. It's a bonus. It makes me do more of what I want to do in this life, which is a
Mm-hmm.
blessing. But does that make me who I am? No. I grew up, like, we grew up with wealth, right? My dad was
Mm-hmm.
financial wealthy from small, so I know what wealth is. But for
Mm.
me, it's giving. The more that I give, that's what I'm. That's what fills me up inside,
Wow. That's
and
really special.
that's who I am. And you would see me now, you'd see me 10 years ago, and you would see me 10 years from now. And this is who I am, and this is who you're going to get. It's not anything else. It's just me. It's I'm not. You'd always be able to get a hold of me.
Wow. I really like that. I'm all about interpersonal. I don't do automated
Yeah.
messages, pitches. I want to say hi, how are you? Have a conversation. That's who I am as well. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing these sharing stories if I'm not someone who likes to talk. I don't want to automate a message. I want to talk to the person.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And what you're doing is that someone else is going to listen to one of your shows, right? And they would be inspired, and they would be able to change their life, because you're touching on subjects that not many people touch on.
Mm-hmm.
And say, for instance, another guest will share something that will help that other person. Sonia always says, from the Buddha, this quote from the Buddha:
Mm-hmm.
"When the student is ready, the teacher will
Yeah.
appear." Right? And that is so true, because, as you said, when you watch the movie Unsinkable, you're just drawn to that particular day, and that's how we met. And look, we are
Mm-hmm.
here today a few months later. And because now we've met and you have me on your show, just imagine someone else is going to hear something that we both said, and they would be able to change their life, and they'll be able to go and accomplish something else incredibly amazing.
Wow.
So it's just a ripple effect. So if we each stand in our light and have that ability to give our light and love to each other, just imagine what this world is going to be like right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it all starts with each individual, and it all starts with each one of us. So we have to share, to forget about, and you know what, honestly, if someone did us something in the past or whatever, it's in the past. We cannot go back there and change that.
Wow. I love that. Yeah.
to forgive and fully move on and help another person. And I strongly, strongly believe, and I'll say it back again, the more you have, the more you give. The more
Mm,
love, the more compassion. If you know someone is going through a difficult time, reach out to them. Because let me tell you, that will change someone else's life. If I know someone is going through a difficult time, guess what? They will get a message from me 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the night. Because that's my time. Like, that's the time that they have. If I wake you up, I'm sorry, but that's the time that I do have to reach out, right?
mm,
But so that's just who I am. And it's like I would reach out. It might not be early in the day, but at least
mm.
when they do check their messages, they'll get a message from me. As
You're
you can tell,
so amazing.
that's when you get your messages too, right?
Yeah. Miss Dolores said that she's totally inspired by you and thanking me for what
Oh,
I do. And Sherry said, she could relate to what's possible. People saying hi and that they love. I love this walk by faith when you had mentioned in the beginning.
oh, thank you.
So are you, before we wrap it up, are you able to share more about the book?
No, that's under wraps right now. It's
Okay.
just about my journey and
So it's a memoir.
memoir plus stories as well too.
Wow. I like that.
Stories about being a mom and being a wife and all these different amazing, incredible things. I
You're
can't
so
talk much about
great.
it, but I'll do have clips about it next year about when it's
Yeah.
coming.
It's so great having you on here today. Finally meeting you and talking to you
Thank you
like
so
face
much.
to face.
You know what?
It was so
Your
fun.
voice have always touched me, Pratibha, and it's not. I can't see you, but I feel you. I've always felt you, even through the messages. And
Wow.
I have to thank you so much for all that you do, for putting forth. Right now, we spent an hour here,
Hmm.
and this is just your hour of giving, and you do this daily. And
Hmm.
so we have to thank you for all that you do, because it. And to keep in mind, guys, this is not easy to put together.
No.
Oh, goodness, okay?
And
Let
have the
me tell you,
stamina
because
to do it. Yeah.
yes, and it's not easy for her to do this right now. She
Hmm.
spent hours doing her research,
Hmm.
okay, to creating all this incredible things. And from that standpoint, Pratiba, for doing it daily and having these guests come on, it's incredibly amazing. And we wholeheartedly thank you so much for all that you do, for being you, for sharing your story, because it's not an easy journey. And we honestly, 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 me and I know so many other people that you have inspired. We thank you, humbly thank you for all that you do and you continue to do. And we can't wait, wait, wait for all that you're going to accomplish in the future. And
Wow.
always know you have a sister and a friend right here anytime. And you'll still be getting my 11 o'clock messages.
I've never had someone like tell me face to face regarding my journey and like thanking me like this. I believe you're the first person who's like really intentional about that. So that was really nice to hear. Yeah,
Oh,
because when you do this work, even doing live stream, that takes energy. Okay. And as in, you have to have the stamina for it. And it doesn't matter what's going on throughout your day personally. When this turns on, this is focused on the guest and the person. It's like, it's not about your worries in the back of your head. You have to be, I do my breath work. You have to be spiritually aligned that this is what's going on, not what's going on in my house or anywhere else. So that is a skill, that is a skill to master, to be able to do that, especially on a daily basis. Yeah.
and not even so pretty, but just imagine the prep work beforehand.
Oh yeah, to the bios and to align things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. So
Yeah,
that
it
is why I
is.
want to thank you so much for all that you do to put these events together every single day. It's not easy.
Hmm.
And what you're doing, I just humbly, humbly, and humbly thank you. And I'm just so proud of you for all that you've accomplished and you're still accomplishing, just for you being you. It's just truly, truly amazing. And it's just been an honor, privilege to just witness you blossom into who you are being and meant to
Wow.
be and that you put on this earth to do. And you've gone through all of what you've gone through in the past because to make you to share your story, to be who you are today and to share, to inspire others through different platforms, through your book, through your podcasts, and through so much other stuff that you're creating. It's
Mm.
just incredible. And just imagine you're just going to transform lives after lives after lives.
Wow.
You're
Me
incredible,
too.
my dear. And I
Huh?
love you so much.
You are like a doll. Like, has anyone told you? Or no?
No.
You are. It
Oh,
was so great. And yeah, this is really nice.
yes.
I liked
And
it.
I'm here for you anytime. And anyone who's listening, please reach out. You will get your 11 o'clock messages, but it would be me. I'm just giving you a heads up.
You cracked me up. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. And please do go back and watch this if you did not watch the whole episode. And thank you so much for your courage, hope, and imagination and coming on here today and sharing with me. So thanks, Shelly. And thank you, everybody.
Love you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.